I gave my family money for years, then they threw me out on Thanksgiving. I taught them a lesson. I am 29 years old. I work with software. My job is not special. It pays my bills. I live alone in a small apartment. It is outside town. I left home at 21. I never went back. I always take care of myself. I do not ask for help. I do not need saving. My sister Vanessa is 26. She lives like a queen at home. She does not have a real job. She says she is an artist. But she never sells her art. Mom bought one of her paintings. Mom put it in the dining room. Mom acted like it was in a museum. Yes. Okay. So, Thanksgiving came. I made sweet potato casserole. Mom says it is her favorite. I drove 35 minutes to my parents' house. I thought it would be the usual people. Me, my parents, Vanessa, maybe some cousins. Or my aunt if she was in town. Nothing special. I drove to their house. I saw many cars. More than normal. The house was full. I thought they invited more people this year. I was still happy. The food smelled good. I was excited to be there. Now I think that was dumb. I walked to the door. I had the casserole. I knocked. I waited. I knocked again. The lights were on. I heard music and laughing. Everything seemed normal. Then Dad opened the door. Dad is not very friendly. But he looked confused. He did not know why I was there. Dad said, "Why are you here?" I thought he was joking. I smiled. I showed him the casserole. It was for Thanksgiving. He did not laugh. He looked uncomfortable. He rubbed his neck. He said, "We told you. It would be a small dinner this year." I said, "What do you mean?" He said something quiet. He said, "I thought this was fixed." He said he would get Mom. He did not ask me in. He left me on the porch. I moved a little. The foil on the casserole made noise. It was warm, but it was getting cold. I looked at the door. I hoped someone else would open it. I hoped they would say sorry. Come in. But Mom came to the door. She opened it a little. She blocked my view. I heard plates and people laughing inside. She gave me a small smile. It was not real. She did not say hi. She did not say Happy Thanksgiving. She said, "I am sorry, Quentin. We do not have more seats. Maybe next year." I blinked. I thought I heard wrong. I said, "What?" She said it again slowly. "We do not have more seats." I looked past her. I said, "You did not think I would come?" She said, "We thought you had plans." She said it like it was true. She said, "You like to be alone." I said, "What?" "I texted you today." She looked surprised. She said, "Oh, I did not think you would come." I looked inside. People sat at the table. They laughed. Their plates were full. There were empty seats. I saw a child on a high chair. But I was not invited. I paid half their bills for 3 years. I could not talk. I did not know what to say. I opened my mouth. No words came out. I nodded. It was for myself. I walked to my car. I did not drop the casserole. I did not slam doors. I got in my car. I put the dish on the seat. I sat there. I needed to think. I drove home. I thought, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was not so bad. But no. I hoped for something good. It was exactly what I saw. They had a big dinner. They invited everyone but me. When I came, they acted like I went to the wrong house. I went home. I heated the casserole. I ate it alone. It did not taste good. It felt like they replaced me. The next day was strange. I was not sad. Just strange. I woke up late. I did not want to do anything. My phone had no calls. No texts. No sorry messages. No are you okay messages. Nothing. That made it worse. They did not even pretend to care. I did not want to talk to anyone. But my cousin Natalie came. She knocked at noon. She had food. She looked like she knew what happened. Natalie is honest. She tells people when they are wrong. She does not hold back. She sat down. She said, "What did they do?" I knew she heard about it. I told her everything. I did not need to lie. Natalie shook her head. She said, "This is not real." She tried to stay calm. Then she said something important. She said, "They knew what they did. This was not an accident. This was their choice." She was right. I knew it deep down. I wanted to think it was a mistake. Maybe they thought I was away. But no. They did not want me there. They did not tell me before. They let me drive there. They let me knock. They let me stand there like a fool. Natalie told me something else. Vanessa said, "He is always distant. He will not come." That is crazy. I always reminded people to reply to family messages. I brought food without being asked. I texted on every birthday. Vanessa does not reply to group texts. She only replies if it is about her. Or if it has emojis. Everyone treats Vanessa like she is special. When she failed classes, Mom said the teachers were bad. When she hit a car, Dad said the sun was too bright. They treat her like a baby. They would have punished me for the same things. But I pay their bills. I help them with money. I paid their electric bills. I gave them money for food. I signed a loan for them. They owed money. I never made a big deal about it. I thought family helps family. Now I see it better. I was not family. I was their support. They called me when the car broke. They called me when the fridge broke. Vanessa was the star. I was the help. They never thanked me. Natalie told me something. At Thanksgiving, she heard Mom say, "We wanted peace this year." Peace. Like I caused problems? Like I would ruin dinner? I do not yell. I do not fight. I just ask questions when things are wrong. But they blame me. That day, I sat quietly. Not for show. Just quiet. No music. No TV. I looked at the cold casserole. No one ate it, but me. It is funny. When you stop making excuses for people, you see the truth. I thought about other times. Last Thanksgiving, I paid for the food. I did not think twice. I bought a big turkey. I bought side dishes. I brought containers. Mom would not have to wash many dishes. Then they took a family photo. They told me to take the picture. Not be in it. Vanessa was in the middle. Everyone stood around her. She was the star. I laughed then. But now I see it was important. Another time, Dad needed a new water heater. I paid for part of it. He said, "We will pay you back." They never did. It did not bother me then. But later I learned something. They bought Vanessa a new iPad. It was for her art. She took a picture with it. She acted like it was a gift from God. They never mentioned me. I do not think they hate me. That is not it. They just do not think about me. They think about me only when they need me. I am like background noise. I am useful but not needed. Vanessa is the star. I am the guy who brings food. They tell me to come back next year. I did not call them. I did not text them. I thought, if they want to talk, they will call. I would not chase them. Not this time. The silence was loud. Not hearing from them told me everything. It was not a mistake. It was not a mix-up. They showed me my place. Now I see it clearly. I did not want to go back. A week went by. My parents still did not call. No texts. No calls. Not even a group text. No happy holiday message with turkey emojis. I thought they felt bad. Or they waited for it to end. I did not want to call first. I kept to myself. I was quiet. I was not very angry. I accepted what happened. Then one day, someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. I almost rolled my eyes. It was Mom. No warning. No can I come. She stood there. But she did not keep me from Thanksgiving. Like I was a strange neighbor. I opened the door. I was curious. I let her in. She walked in. She was fake calm. She acts like that when she wants something. You know. Too nice. Too smiley. Too casual. But she tries too hard to be normal. She sat on my couch. Like it was her house. She said, "How are you, sweetheart?" It was so fake. I did not answer. I sat across from her. I waited. She talked about the weather. Then she said what she wanted. She said, about the $900. But she asked about a late package. Let me explain. I gave my parents $900 every month for years. It started when Dad was sick. He missed work. They had trouble with bills. I helped them. They did not ask. I sent the money. I told them not to worry. I thought it was for a short time. But it went on. I paid their rent. I helped with their car. I paid for surprise problems. These problems came at bad times. They did not ask every month. But they expected it. If I did not send money, Mom would text me. She would say things like, "Money is tight." She would say, "Some of us do not have good jobs." Like I do not work 50 hours a week. I looked at her. I said, "What about it?" She tilted her head. She did not get it. She said, "You did not send it this month." She was serious. She said it like I forgot to take out the trash. Not like I stopped sending money to people who shut the door in my face. I was calm. I said, "Yes, I know." She blinked. She did not like my answer. She said, "Why not?" I raised my eyebrows. I said, "Because I do not have to." Then her smile broke. Her face changed. She tried to smile again. But the feeling was different. She said, "Quentin, you cannot stop. We need that money. Dad and I have bills. You know money is tight." I leaned back. I said, "Yes, I know. I also know how it felt last week. I stood on your porch with food. You both acted like I was not there." She did not answer. She froze. She breathed out. Like I was too dramatic. She said, "It was not personal. We did not have enough room." I said, "You had folding chairs in the garage." I saw 3. She did not say I was wrong. She looked mad that I noticed. Then she tried something else. She said, "Quentin, Family helps family. You have money. We are your parents. It is your job. The word job made me angry. I like to help my family. But she said it like I owed them. Like I should give money without asking. Without question. That was not love. That was a deal. And I was late with my payment. I said it again slowly. I do not have to. I do not want to. She stood up. She was upset. She said, I cannot believe this. After all we did for you. I stopped her. I said, what you did for me. Mom, I left home at 21. I pay my own bills. You have not helped me in years. I sent you thousands of dollars. I paid for your house. I paid for Dad's car insurance. She could not argue. It was true. Then she tried to make me feel bad. She said, your dad will be very upset. I shrugged. I said, that is not my problem. She looked at me, like she did not know me. She said, we are not done talking. Then she left mad. I thought it was over. But 2 hours later, knock again. This time it was not just Mom. It was Mom, Dad, and Vanessa. All three stood there, like they were going to give me a job. Dad looked serious. He crossed his arms, like he was ready to yell. Vanessa looked at her phone, like she was bored in a bad class. Before I could talk, Dad stepped forward. He said, why are you acting this way? What is wrong? I laughed. I said, you shut the door in my face last week. Now you do not know why I will not give you money. Vanessa did not look up. She said, this is too much. That made me mad. I said, too much? I pay for all of you. I work hard every day. And I am too much. Mom tried to calm me down. She said, Quentin, we love you. You are making a bad choice. Dad said, you are family. Family does not leave. I said, no. Family does not shut people out. Family does not treat people like they do not matter. Then come ask for money when it stops. They tried to talk over me. I was done. I pointed to the door. I said, you said I was not part of the family last week. Ask the person who took my seat at Thanksgiving for $900. No one moved. I walked to the door. I opened it. I said, leave. They said now. They did not move. They just blinked. They did not understand. Mom spoke first. She said, Quentin, do not be silly. She laughed a fake laugh, like it was a small mistake. She said, you cannot mean this. I said, I do mean it. I stepped back. I held the door. She said, you cannot do this to us. Her voice was loud. I said, watch me. I shut the door. I did not look back. 2 days later, I worked at home. I was getting work done. I heard a strange sound outside. Thud, thud. I thought it was the neighbor's kid, playing with a ball. But the sound kept coming. Thump, thump, like something soft hit metal. I stood up. I looked out my window. I squinted. I could not believe it. My parents and my sister were in my parking lot. They were throwing eggs at my car. Real eggs. Full boxes. They hit the car. The front. The window. The door. Vanessa threw one underhand. Like a game. She laughed. Dad did not talk. He just threw eggs. Like he was a kid again. Mom yelled loud. She said, now you will remember your family. This is what happens when you turn your back on us. I stood there. I was shocked. This could not be real. These were grown people. In their 50s. And a grown woman. Acting like kids in a bad movie. I did not run outside. I took out my phone. I recorded a video. No yelling. No fighting. Just a video of my family. Doing the most childish thing I have ever seen. After 5 minutes, my neighbor came out. He yelled, I will call the police if you do not leave. That got their attention. Mom yelled back at him. She told him to mind his own business. But they got in their car. They drove away. Like they did not just egg their son's car in the daytime. When they left, I went outside. I looked at my car. It looked like a food fight. Eggs dripped down. Shells stuck to the window wipers. It smelled bad. It was not just annoying. It was disgusting. It makes you feel worse when you have to clean it yourself. But I did not clean it. Not yet. I had other plans. I went inside. I saved the video. I made copies. I called the police. Not for emergency. I told them what happened. I gave them my story. I sent them the video. The police officer was nice. But I could tell. He thought it was crazy. He said, this was your parents? I said yes. It was. I called my insurance company. The eggs might hurt the paint. Then I called a car cleaning shop. I made an appointment for the next morning. It cost a lot of money. But it was worth it. I kept the receipt. You will see why soon. That night, Mom texted me. She said, what is wrong with you? We were mad. We did not want to hurt you. Are you really telling the police about this? Then Vanessa texted. She said, you are so dramatic. No one scratched your dumb car. I did not answer. I sent the text to the police officer. The next day, my car was being cleaned. I got a call. The number was hidden. I answered. It was Dad. He did not talk about the weather. He said, "Stop this. You are going too far." I said, "You threw eggs at my car." He said, "You stopped giving us money. Like we are strangers. That was not nice." I laughed. I said, "You told me I was not welcome at your house. Which is it? Am I family or not?" He got loud. He said I was mean. He said I was cold. He said I turned my back on them. I said, "Raising your child does not mean you get their money forever. Maybe you should have thought before. You treated me like a checkbook." Then he said the best thing. He said, "This will break the family apart." I said, "You already did that. When you acted like I did not exist." I hung up. I did not hear from them that day. But I knew it was not over. People like them do not give up. They make a new plan. They come back stronger. The next morning, I got an email. It was from their lawyer. They got a notice from the police. They wanted to fix it without police. That meant, "Please do not press charges. We are too proud." I wrote back. I was calm. I was short. I was honest. I sent the bill for the car cleaning. I added a bill for the paint. The shop said it needed fixing. I sent the video again. Just for fun. I said I would not drop the charges until they paid me. I did not hear for a week. Then, a check came in the mail. No note. No sorry. Just money and a name. I cashed the check. I smiled. It was not about the money now. It was about making them understand. I am not someone you can treat badly, and still expect me to pay for your life. They made a line at Thanksgiving. I made my line after the eggs hit my car. I thought paying for the damage would wake them up. Like saying, "Hey, you cannot treat your adult child like trash. You cannot break his things. Then be surprised when there are results." But I forgot who they were. My parents and Vanessa do not learn. They make up a new story in their heads. They act like they are the victims. The next week, I noticed something new. People did not just ignore me. Now I was the bad guy. It started with a family group text. The one with all our relatives. You know, for birthdays, for holidays, for funny pictures. I did not write in it since before Thanksgiving, but then it got many messages. From Vanessa. She sent messages like, "It is sad when family does not act like family. Money changes people." She did not write my name, but it was about me. Samantha wrote back. They were half nice, half mean. They said things like, "I hope everyone finds peace. Family is hard, but we must try." I did not answer. I did not open the text. Then cousins texted me. Some I had not talked to in months. Some were confused. They wanted to know what happened. I told them the short story. They did not invite me to Thanksgiving. I stopped sending money. They threw eggs at my car. That usually made them quiet. Others were mean. Like my cousin Blake. He texted, "Dude, you are suing your parents for eggs? Calm down." I replied, "Tell them to calm down next time they buy eggs at the store." But my favorite was Vanessa. She sent me one thing. A crying face. No words. Just the emoji. Like it meant something. Like I would see it and say, "Oh, she is sad. Time to send money for rent again." I did not answer. My silence said everything I needed. The silence made them crazy. I could tell. They waited for me to get mad. Then they could say, "See, he is the problem." But I did not play that game. More messages came. Mom called a few times. She left voice messages. They started nice. They ended mean. One message said, "Hi, sweetie. Will you change your mind?" It ended with, "I hope you know what this is doing to your dad's health." Vanessa's message was her usual sarcasm. She said, "We all make mistakes. It takes a big person to forgive. I guess you are not big yet. Because I am the one who needs forgiveness." After they threw eggs at me like a joke, then came the guilt. Dad emailed me. He did not call. He wrote a long email. He said the stress was making him sick. He could not sleep. He could not eat. He said I was breaking the family. It might never be fixed. He said, "You will regret leaving your family." Nice. The man who stood with Mom when she said I could not come to dinner. Now he cares about family problems. I said nothing. I did not want them to think I cared. I was done. I did my laundry in peace. I worked without people bothering me. I cooked real food. Not stress eating at midnight. I went for walks again. Small things. They sound boring. But I felt free in my mind. The longer I was quiet, the louder they got. They brought other people into it. My dad's sister sent me a voice message. She said family is forever. Money is not worth losing family. Another cousin sent me a message on Instagram. She said, Do not let pride ruin everything. I did not post about what happened. So I knew. The family was talking. They only heard my parents' side. They probably heard a story about me. How I became greedy. How I was not thankful. How I stopped sending money for no reason. It was amazing to see. No one talked about them not inviting me. No one asked if I was okay. It was all about them. Their stress. Their sadness. Their reputation. I was the bad guy in the group chat. The ungrateful son who left. I started muting people. Not blocking them. Just muting. It was better than talking to them. I would not explain to people who were not there. They did not ask what really happened. Even if they asked, I would not talk. Because I am not ashamed. Not at all. I stopped giving money to people who treated me like a bank. They were shocked when the bank said no. And it felt good. Every time I saw a new message. I did not need to answer. That was a small win. Every call I missed. I did not feel bad. Victory. I did not owe them my time. Not after everything. They thought the eggs were the end. They thought I would come back when I was not shocked anymore. They did not understand. I was not angry. I was finished. There is a big difference. Angry people come back to fight. Finished people leave and do not look back. It has been 5 months. Life is good. Honestly, it has been peaceful. Very peaceful. I did not know how loud my life was. Until it became quiet. The weight of being the family fixer is gone. Just gone. It has been nice. Nothing has happened. That is good. So imagine my surprise. I heard a knock last week. Not a fast knock. Not like the delivery person. Not like a neighbor. This knock said, I am waiting. I will not leave until you open the door. I got up from the couch. I did not know what to expect. But not what I saw. I opened the door. There they were. Mom, Dad, and Vanessa. On my porch. With suitcases. Real suitcases. With wheels. Mom held an old bag. She had a strange smile. She acts like that when she is desperate, but does not want to show it. Dad looked tired. Dark eyes. Not shaved. The whole look. Vanessa wore a hoodie. Her hair was messy. She chewed gum. Like we stopped her spa day. Not like she brought a suitcase to my door. Mom said, Quentin. I knew something bad was coming. She said, we had a hard few weeks. Her voice was dramatic. Like when the TV bill was late. She said, there are problems with the house. With rent. Your dad works less hours. Vanessa's job is well. She stopped talking. Then she said, we need a place to stay. Just for a short time. She said it like it was normal. Like after 5 months of silence. After they broke my car. After they treated me like a stranger at Thanksgiving. Now they thought I would let them stay. They thought I would welcome them. I looked at their suitcases. They had the nerve to bring them. I thought about that cold day in November. On their porch. They told me, we do not have more seats. Maybe next year. But this time I was inside. They were outside in the cold. Dad stepped forward. He said, we just need a few weeks. Until we fix things. We can sleep on the couch if we must. Vanessa looked up. She said, yes. Like 2 weeks at most. 2 weeks from the girl who never had a job for long. My hands were on the door. I did not yell. I did not give a speech. I just said no. Mom blinked. She was confused. She said what? I said, you are not staying here. Dad frowned. He said, come on, Quinn. We are family. That word again. Family. They only use it when they need something. Not when they need to help someone. I leaned in the doorway. I said funny. When I came 5 months ago, you said there were not enough chairs. Remember? They did not answer. Vanessa sighed. She said, are you still mad about that? I laughed. Not loud. Not fake. A real laugh from deep inside. I said, no, Vanessa. I am not mad. I am finished. Mom looked like she would cry. She said, Quentin, please. We have nowhere to go. I shrugged. I said, that is your problem. But not here. Dad tried again. He said, just a few nights. I said, I do not have room. He said, we will sleep on the floor. I nodded. I said yes. I did that for years. Not really. But in my mind. While you treated me like an outsider. Now I sleep in peace. They just stood there. No other plan. No backup. Just hoped that I would give in. Like I always did. They hoped I would say, of course. Come in. Make yourself at home. They really thought. They thought coming with bags would fix everything. They did not even know they felt so entitled. It was just part of them. They could not imagine me saying no. I looked at them one last time. No anger. No pity. Just clear. I said, I hope you fix your problems. I shut the door. I did not slam it. I did not lock it loud. I closed it quiet. Like they closed their door on me. I watched through the peephole. They stood there. They did not move. They waited for the door to open. It did not open. They turned around. They walked to the street. They dragged their bats. Vanessa was on her phone again. I went back to the couch. I read my book again. The house was quiet. Later that night, I got a text. The number was unknown. It was probably Vanessa. It said, "You will be sorry for this." I did not answer. I deleted it. I put my phone down. I looked around my small apartment. I breathed out. For the first time in years, the door that only opened one way finally closed.